Salve, rapaziada, entrando no ar mais uma edição do nosso Conexão PVT, hoje recebendo aqui um convidado internacional, ele que é o principal manager do MMA mundial. Seja muito bem-vindo, Mr. Ali Abdelaziz.
It's a pleasure, my friend, and it's like this morning I have so many people call me, hey, you gotta talk with my friend, be nice with him. I said, of course I'm gonna be nice with him. Werdum, Renzo, all these guys speak very highly of you.
Thanks a lot. My pleasure. First of all, let me, I know about your history, but to introduce you to the internet viewers, your beginning in martial arts, you are a very highly judo player, and also you got a black belt from Renzo Gracie. You fought MMA. Just give us an idea about your career in mixed martial arts in general.
Yeah, I started doing judo when I'm 5 years old, and I become a national champion, and I compete for the national team. I come to the U.S. and I competed here too, and after that, I stayed here, and I beginning training with Master Renzo. Now for almost 16 years, maybe 17 years, and being a student of Master Renzo, and without him I would not even exist. This man did a lot for me, him and the Gracie family, Igor Gracie, Hollis Gracie, Gregor, my friend Rafael Natal, many Brazilian friends in the United States, and I'm almost half Brazilian.
Very nice. And how you got in Vale Tudo? You fought Kauruno, you fought a couple of guys in Vale Tudo times.
Yeah, I was doing judo at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and I started training MMA, and I have couple of fights. I wasn't the best fighter in the world, but I really loved that martial art. I always wanted to compete, and I have an opportunity. And actually, I was trained at Renzo Gracie for this fight. And I just moved there. Couple of years ago before the fight, and I trained there for the fight, and I represented the gym. It didn't go my way, but I have the pleasure to compete such a legend like Kamaru Usman in K1 in Japan, and that was my last fight. And after that, Mr. Renzo said, listen, you have to work with me, and I started helping with the gym, helping the boys, Igor, Gregor, Hollis, Rafael Natal, David Branch, all those guys in the gym. And after that, just Renzo said, hey, I want you to become my manager. And I said, hey, you crazy? How I become your manager? You're like a legend. And in reality, he wanted to help me start a career, right? And want to give me credibility. And that's how I become a manager. I started managing Renzo Gracie, and after that, he introduced me to Frankie Edgard. I started managing Frankie, and the rest is history.
Very nice. I didn't know you started with Renzo, so
yeah.
That's how you start to be the number one manager. It's a long way from which year do you start managing Renzo?
To be honest, I started helping the boys in the gym since 2006. Just help them out, just small shows, not making money, just it's my friends. And after that, when Renzo wanted to fight Matt Hughes in 2009, he said, I want to go meet with the UFC. And I said, I don't know anybody. I didn't know anything about Joe Silva, Dana White, Lorenzo Fertitta. And I reached out to Joe Silva, and Joe Silva says, above my pay grade, you have to talk to the Lorenzo and Dana. And back then, my English wasn't even good, like I have a heavy accent. And these guys opened the door for me with Renzo. And I think everything was set through Sheikh Tahroun already. And these guys just want to be nice to me and have a meeting with them. And honestly, the rest is history. And since then, Dana has been a huge part of my life as a mentor and as a friend, as a big brother to me. And I know promoter and manager supposed to have this amazing beef, but I truly respect him. And I remember the way he met me when I was zero, and him and Lorenzo, they treat me so well. I'm still in touch with Lorenzo too. He's a great man, and Dana's a great man, and I feel, these guys very much gave me an opportunity. I still, sometimes we have to fight for my fighters, but in reality, we all one big family who work with each other to help the sport and help the fighter to become, bigger sport. And sometimes I don't understand why a fighter need to fight with the promotion sometimes, little stuff can go fix behind closed door, But this is how I started really, and I work with many Brazilian legends, like not only Renzo. One of my favorite Brazilian legends is my brother Fabricio Werdum via Cavallo. He gave me an opportunity, like same as Master Renzo, and we, he won the interim title. We won the championship title. Now he's in PFL. He's a big brother to me. He's one of the best human beings I ever met in my life. Fabricio Werdum is a really great man,
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I agree with you. And let's start talking about him. How, Ali, you know him as a manager and as a person. How do you see this future? Do you think he's going to stop and fighting boxing to finish the career, or do you see a light in the end of the tunnel that like he's fighting MMA again in a near future?
Listen, we saw Renzo fight at 50 years old, right? Listen, I think the guys like Renzo or Fabricio, they choose their own legacy. They can do whatever they want. Nobody, who I am to tell them what to do? Fabricio is a fighter at heart, and of course, I don't want these guys to fight, But if they want to fight, of course, they can choose to, and I'll be there by their side, supporting them 100%.
Very nice, very nice. Talking about the UFC 275, have you seen Werdum and Prohaska? How did you like that fight, Prohaska and Werdum? I'm sorry, Glover Teixeira and Prohaska.
I think 9 times out of 10, if Glover fight Prohaska, Glover beat him. I think Glover dominated this fight from, he have all position. He mounted him. He could have finished him. He jumped for his guillotine and he was hurting him on the feet. I think if they fight 10 times, 9, Glover will win 9. I think Glover is a legend. I respect him a lot. Such an amazing human being. And I think this guy got lucky a little bit, to be honest with you. That's what I think.
And you got Ankalaev in that division fighting Anthony Smith in the sequence. If he wins, probably he will be fighting Prohaska.
Listen, I texted Dick McMahon after this fight, and I said, if honestly the UFC make a rematch, I'll be okay with it because I think it was such a great fight. And Glover was winning. He just got caught with the choke at the end, right? And I think, not taking any credit from any guys, but that was a great fight. And when you have a great fight, when you do rematches, Magomed Ankalaev, he can win his next fight against Anthony Smith, and he can be the number 1 contender. And if these guys want to fight now, they can go ahead and fight now. There's no problem for me.
Do you think it's fair, Glover, to have immediately rematch?
Yes, I think you cannot deny Glover. He's 42 years old. But the question is, if Glover win the title, he is going to stay or he's going to retire? That's the question. And this is the UFC have to figure out. But I think Glover should. If they give him a immediate rematch, 100%, I'm okay with that.
Very nice. Talking about Kamaru Usman, the last interview I saw, you were talking about his hand injury, and last week I saw he recovered and he will face Leon Edwards on UFC 278, August 20 in Salt Lake City. Can you confirm that?
Kamaru Usman is almost half Brazilian. You know, his daughter is Brazilian, his mother's Brazilian, and he have a big connection in Brazil. Yeah, he's fighting August 20th, versus Leon Edwards. And one of the things I said today on Twitter, and people went crazy, I believe Kamaru Usman will beat Jan Blachowicz, Glover, and Yuri. I believe Kamaru can beat these guys. I really true. I know it's gonna sound crazy, I don't want to see him fight Glover because I like Glover too much, but I believe he beat all these other guys right now. He's the pound for pound best fighter in the world today, and I think he can be a champion at light heavyweight right now. Yeah. But one of the things I want to say about Brazil is the equilibrium of MMA. This is the birth of MMA. And I know at one point, all the champions moved to the US, to Russia. But slowly but surely, I'm seeing Brazil rising again. Taylor Santos, I believe she beat Valentina Shevchenko. I really truly believe, she won this fight. You have a girl like Jessica Andrade. I think Jessica Andrade can be a champion at 115. And you got this new girl, Karina Silva. This girl, she's a savage. She's unbelievable. I think with the right moves, the right decision, she can fight for the title soon, And of course, you got Figueiredo. My opinion, he's one of my favorite fighters. I think Figueiredo is such an entertainer inside the cage, outside the cage. The guy who, he carry power like a heavyweight, He have great jiu-jitsu, and I really, really like his style a lot. And I think we don't appreciate him enough, as a champion. And of course, I managed many Brazilian fighters like Ariane Araujo, Vivi Araujo, Ariane
Araujo, great fighter,
Bruno Silva, Claudio Gadelha, Herbert Burns, Rafael Alves, Gilbert Burns, Vicente Luco, my brother Rodolfo Vieira, Buchecha. And we see Buchecha in one FC smashing everybody. I believe he's going to be, by next year, he's going to be one FC champion. Felipe Pena turned into MMA. Felipe Lins, former
Felipe Pena is your athlete too?
Yeah, Felipe Pena is my athlete. And my brother Nitan Schultz, he's one of the best human beings you meet in this game. And he's very, very good. And he's been robbed last 2 fights in his fight. And of course, Neyman Gracie. This is guy, I know him when we used to eat ice cream for dinner. We didn't have too much money. And Zaffarino, Gleison Tibau, Antonio Carlos Jr. Werdum. And I have to stop on, and of course, Ronnie Marks, who helped me with a lot of Brazilian athletes in Brazil, like managing them. And one of the guys I believe is one of the biggest Brazilian superstar today, but he's not in the UFC. Bruno Capoloza. I think Bruno Capoloza is one of the most underrated fighters in the world. I think this guy it's so good, and because he does not fight in the UFC, we don't talk about him enough. I think he's one of the best heavyweights in the world. Maybe top 2, top 3. This is my opinion.
You talk about Gilbert Burns, also Durinho. Durinho is a guy that learned a lot to use the social media to call fights. I got really amazed. I know Durinho since the purple belt. It's really nice how this guy evolved, not only as a fighter, but also to understand the sport in general. And he used a lot the Twitter. He got fights. He helps your job a lot with the Twitter. And he's calling now Jorge Masvidal. Do you think this fight will happen? Can you tell us about that?
I have a meeting with the UFC on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about this. I think the UFC interested, Gilbert interested, Masvidal interested, and I think, Gilbert after last performance, he deserves a big fight, and I think that's a big fight. Jorge Masvidal is a big star, this is no doubt. But I think Gilbert going to smash him. I think. Brazilian power is real. I think everybody say Polo's power, Gilbert Burns have Brazilian power. This man hit like a truck. He have a heart of a lion. He moved like a cheetah. And I can't wait for my brother to fight and win again and get closer to the title and fight for the title.
We are talking back about Kamaru Usman. You're talking about numbers. He's already the number 1 pound for pound. But when we talk about greatest of all times in 77 kilos in the welterweight division, do you think he already is above George St. Pierre? What's your opinion?
It's not even close. George is my friend. I love George, but it's not even close. Kamaru never lost in the UFC. He's been undefeated for so long. He's on a 17-fight winning streak in the UFC. I don't think George ever had that. And I think the competition who fought, Kobe Covington, Masvidal, Leon Edwards, Gilbert Burns, the list go on and on and on. He beat all of them. I believe he's the best welterweight of all the time. My opinion, he's the GOAT. He's him and Khabib neck to neck. They're the best of the best. And I forgot about talk about one guy, and he's one of my best friends, Marlon Moraes. I want to tell Brazilian people, this man in the USA is one of the best human beings you ever meet, and this man, nobody represents Brazil better than him. You know, he's a no everybody love Marlon. You cannot meet anybody love Marlon, and this is the way a man should act, and I love this man dearly, and he's a good man.
Nice, nice. And talking about Brazil, you're talking about Brazil. You have many Brazilian fans. Have you ever came here? Did you ever brought someone for fighters to fight in Brazil?
I went to Brazil judo competition a long time ago, like when I was a junior, but I haven't been to Brazil since. You know, but you know, like I said, I love Brazil. I grew up with the Renzo Gracie gym for 10 years, and everybody around me is Brazilian. You know, and I know the Brazilian food. I know the Brazilian culture. I love the Brazilian people. Where I come from, people very passionate, and Brazilian people, such beautiful people. You know, doesn't matter from Rio, from the favela, from anywhere. They just a good-hearted people, very passionate people, and I'm telling you, Brazilian MMA right now is on the rise. Like you see, Tala Santos fight Valentina. You know,
Do you think
I
she
love
won?
Valentina.
Do you think she won?
I love Valentina, but I think Tala Santos won, and many people think so too. You know, I think women MMA in Brazil, it's the strongest than any other country. This is my opinion, and I think it was such an impressive to see this girl like do this such a work. She's amazing, man, and I think the headbutt have a lot to do with it. And I think the UFC should make a rematch. You know, this rematch should happen. You know, this rematch should happen. I think it's a great matchup. And Dana White told everybody before the fight, she punched hard, she finished everybody, and nobody believed him. Now, if you don't know, now you know. Dana sometimes know what he's talking about.
And talking about Dana, he just said that Charles Oliveira will return in October in UFC 281 in Abu Dhabi, or November 282, probably in New York. The only two fights that would make sense to him are your fighters, Islam Makhachev or Beneil Dariush. Can you tell us which one will get the title shot?
I like Charles Oliveira. I like Macaco. I like Macaco's like a great man, you know. But I'm gonna tell you something. It doesn't matter who's gonna fight Charles Oliveira. And I'm sorry, Brazil, I love you, but Charles Oliveira is not gonna be the champion in October. He's gonna lose. You know. And, I think he have not fought the grappler like Islam or Beneil. You know, even wrestling, they're better than him in wrestling. They're better than him in grappling. You know, but also Charles Oliveira become a very clever fighter too. You know, but I just don't see it. He gonna beat any of these guys, and I respect him. I'm not talking trash because he's a good man. You know, he's a good man. He beat Justin Gaethje. He's one of my guys. He did a great job, and I congratulate him. And I said, you know, they should have given him his title back because this whole skill thing was crazy, and I don't know. I have not got confirmation, or even if I know, I want to be honest. The UFC job to announce fight. It's not my job, you know, and it's gonna be one of my guys, Beneil, Islam, either of them. I'm not choosing anyone above the others, you know. But whatever who's gonna fight Charles Oliveira next, any of my guys, they're gonna beat him.
And imagine if Charles submits Makhachev. Do you believe in that case you could convince Khabib Nurmagomedov to come back to MMA? What do you think?
Listen. You never know, you know. I never say no, never. But in a way, like, look at Khabib, you know, 29-0, never lost a round. You know, Charles Oliveira almost have 10 losses on his record. You know, what Khabib have to prove to beat Charles Oliveira? Charles Oliveira, as great as he is, he can never touch what Khabib have accomplished. You know, because it's a different legacy, not only inside the cage, outside the cage too. You know, Khabib touched almost 2 billion people. You know, that's who Khabib follow. Not include American people, not include Brazilian people. And listen, you believe it or not, I know Khabib sometimes joke about If Sambo is easy, you call Jiu-Jitsu. Habib really enjoyed. He told me one of his best experience he ever experienced fighting Brazil. He loved Brazil, you know. He actually was saying, if Islam get the title shot, we need to ask the UFC to have this fight in Brazil, right? But I don't know what the UFC is gonna do. But I'm very sure very soon we will know what's going on. You know, listen. But like I said, Brazil is on the rise right now, and everybody who ignored the corona, I think, hurt Brazil MMA. But I think everything open. I think now we're gonna see Brazilian MMA come back.
Yeah, and be sure Brazil love Khabib a lot too, you know, because Khabib, even he talking, we know that this small trash talk is part of the game, but he's pretty much respectful, and Brazilian people know he started here. When I was launching this book here, by the day I launched this book, he went to the launch ceremony in São Paulo when he fought Thiago Tavares. I couldn't believe he was still a beginner, and then he was in the line to get the signature from me and Susumu Nagal. And you know, this guy made all his career doing great fights and respecting the opponent, and he beat McGregor. And Brazilian people don't like McGregor too much, so Brazilian people like Khabib. Be sure if he come here, he will be very well treated there. Even fighting shots.
No, but Brazil is the mother of MMA. You know, without Brazil, the Gracie family, without like Andre Penanares, Parumpa, Conan, many Brazilian coaches come to the US, you know, and make a big difference too. Renzo Gracie, like Renzo Gracie come here in 1995, 1996, and open an academy in New York, and people doesn't even know what Jiu-Jitsu is, you know. Like you see Conan and Parompa go to ATT, or Catal, they go to ATT and start a dynasty with Dan Lambert, you know. And Macaron too, many Brazilian coaches come here and make big difference in MMA, you know. You have the pound for pound legend, Rafael Cordeiro. You know, Rafael Cordeiro moved to California and changed the landscape of all MMA. I don't believe that the MMA in California or this West Coast will be the same without Rafael Cordeiro. My opinion, he's one of the greatest MMA coaches of all the time, you know. And I've also have many other coaches too, you know. But guys like him, like Renzo, like Dan Lambert, like Conan, like Parumpa, like many of these guys, they make a huge difference. You know, Ricardo Almeida, many. I know I'm going to forget some people's name. Please forgive me. Just many Brazilian coaches have moved to America. And this is the reason American MMA, the UFC, becomes as big as it is, because Brazil.
Ali, we are talking about Khabib, and the name of McGregor came. Everybody knows you and McGregor don't get along very much. And how do you see the news that he may return fighting Michael Chandler? Do you think it's a fair fight for him? Is a good fight for him?
I don't care about it. This McGregor guy is he's very, he disrespects the nation. He disrespects the people. He wants everything for attention. He a prostitute, you know. He's like a prostitute. He always talk about people. I remember how he treat Aldo. You know, that was, for me, I respect Aldo so much. Even he beat Frankie Edgard 2 times. And he's one of my brothers too, you know. But I respect him so much, and I believe McGregor disrespect the Brazilian people, and I think this guy all care about just himself, and I don't like talk about this guy too much. And Mike Chandler, I don't care about this guy too. He's 2-2 in the UFC, you know. He's Charles the Bronx Oliveira, make him go sleep, you know. Who else make him go sleep? Justin Gaethje beat him up, you know. And I just think at the moment, you know, this is maybe money fights, but I'm talking about Brazilian people care about legacy, about championship, about belt, and that's what I care about the most too. Of course, we all have to make money, but if they fight, of course, anything McGregor does is people tune in, because you have like a fake army, you know, not a real army. And Mike Chandler too is this guy in Bellator. He never talk. Now he talk because he watched a couple of WWE film and he act like the Undertaker or something. It's all fake. It's not real. The real is Habib, Justin Gaethje, Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, Renzo Gracie. These are real gangsters. But these guys, like, they want to be gangster, but it's a little bit fake, like fake style. It's not real. Werdum. This is one of the real gangsters in MMA too.
Yeah, that's true. And you always say that Khabib, I saw interview you and Henry Cejudo and Mike Tyson, you explaining why you believe Khabib Nurmagomedov is the GOAT. I believe you have numbers to prove that. But why you believe he's above John Jones?
Man, John Jones, like when I'm talking about the GOAT mean inside the cage, outside the cage. Inside the cage, outside the cage. Habib never have close fight. You look at John Jones, last 3 fights is very close fights. Last 3 fights is very close fight. Habib never have even a close fight. Dominance, Habib is better. Undefeated in many rounds, Habib is better. Outside the cage, Habib is better. Habib never have an action with Wasada, none of the stuff. I'm not saying. Of course, John Jones is a great fighter, but he cannot tie the shoes of Habib. I don't think he can. He's good, but I think Habib on a different level. He loved by many. I don't think John Jones is a bad person, but I just don't think all his career he doesn't have the right set, the right people who take care of him, right? Who told him wrong from right. He was a young guy. If you give me what John Jones have at 21, I'll probably walk naked in the street because I know myself. I'm wild. But, I don't blame him. But I think Habib is just, the way he brought up was different, And I met John Jones' parents. They're very nice people. It's just different mindset, Just Khabib is Khabib, It's the reason why Habib have 35 million followers on Instagram. John Jones maybe have 5, It's just, Habib changed people's life. How many lives John Jones has changed? I don't know. Also, you have a lot of great fighters like Anderson Silva, like many fighters, Vitor Belfort, like many fighters. They're great fighters, but this level Habib has done right now, and I'm telling you, Kamaru's there too. And I'm not just saying about Kamaru. You can say Werdum. He won ADCC champion. BJJ with the GI World Championship, UFC Championship, Ultimate belt. Many people you can say, they the GOATs, Georges St. Pierre, what a great human being, how you cannot say is the GOAT, This is my opinion. Everybody's different. I can be wrong, but I'm not taking anything away from John Jones, but I don't think he is. I think I can put Georges St. Pierre before him.
I know you're a very close friend of Habib. You are partners in Eagle FC too. And just as curiosity, he keeps training, having sparring because he's such a tough guy. I can't imagine Habib stopping training. How he's doing? He's keep training in the daily routine.
I'm gonna say something, and I know a lot of people are gonna talk bad. And I know me and Israel Adesanya have like a little beef, but I have no problem with Israel. I think he's a good man. Habib now weighs 200 pounds. If Habib come tomorrow and cut to 185, he will stop Israel Adesanya in 3 rounds. This is my opinion. I see it. He beat heavyweight, light heavyweight, welterweight, lightweight. He's unstoppable now. He's like a tractor trailer, But his styles, if Habib want to come back and talk with Dana White, said, let me fight at middleweight, he will finish Israel in 3 rounds because the style of fight, because Habib cannot stop his wrestling, he cannot stop his grappling, Israel, but striking, of course, Israel is the best striker on this planet, my opinion, but he can come back and fight middleweight and become a champion today. He's always in good shape, he's always in good spirit, and you never know. Honestly, he said, I'm never going to fight again. But sometimes I feel like he won because I say, hey, why you go so hard with the guys? He said, I have to show him who's the boss. But in reality, you never know what happened. I think Dana White is enough clever this, maybe you would do the Ultimate Fighter with Tony Ferguson, right? And they go crazy with each other, and they end up fighting at the end of the season, right? You never know.
Do you believe his mother would change her mind, or is much more like is much more about Khabib's decision?
I don't know, man. Habib is a very special guy, and we, us, are Muslims. We have to follow what mother said. We cannot go to enter paradise without what mother happy with us. That's the beauty of Islam. You have to respect your mother. You have to respect your father. Your mother before your father, actually. And this is our culture, our religion. And Habib is always have great communication with his family. And whatever his mom says, she's the boss, for sure.
Yeah, I understand. Also, I want you to talk about your relation with Dana White. Is a very respected man. He's the most powerful man in MMA. And you are the guy who deal best with him as a manager. Would you give advice for some new managers, like don't do that with the man? I already saw some interview that you give very nice tips about that. Like don't talk publicly what you discuss with Dana or things like that.
Like I think is people can say whatever they want, I think it's a respect thing, right? And to be honest, I think Dana White he's a very simple man, just don't lie to him, don't bullshit him. All the UFC, like Mick, Sean, Hunter, all these guys, they simple people, just be straight, And sometimes, hey, they smash me, they argue with me, but all the time I don't take personal because it's never about me, it's about the athletes, And I think Dana, as a man of his word, that the man never lied to me, never said nothing about bad about me. He's a good man. He does so much stuff for fighters without even people knowing. Spend probably millions of dollars a year helping other people out. He doesn't really have to, And everybody want to criticize fighter pay. Okay, if you don't like the UFC, don't go sign with the UFC. If you have Bellator, you have PFL, you have ONE FC, go sign there. Why all the time? I feel like everybody, when they go to Dana, everything is good. They have beef with Dana, they're going to start talking about, look, Figueiredo situation, This guy is one of the most respected champion in the UFC, right? If you want more money, okay, no problem. Go set up a meeting, sit with Mick, sit with whatever you're going to sit with, Hunter, whatever you're going to sit with, and make a deal. Real men do deal behind closed door, and it's all about relationship, like people's, like a lot of people say, oh, Sean is very grumpy, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't think Sean's grumpy. Sean is real. And I think out of all of them, he's the most generous. But you have to be real with him, And I better to be straight with me and mean to me than lie to me, But I feel, Dana's, without him, the sport wouldn't be here. Let's not get fool ourselves. And if you have beef with Dana, go directly to him. He will talk with you. Don't go on the internet and type stuff. For what? I think it hurts you. It doesn't help you. And I think grown people does business behind closed door, And I think Dana is very easy to deal with. I don't have no problem with nobody. If I have problem with somebody, you guys will never know about it because I'm never going to talk about it. Because at the end of the day, if I work 18 years in my life good with these guys, and one day back, I'm going to run and complain, this is not good, And I think, like I said before, we all have to be grateful for Dana White, for Scott Coker, for ONE FC, for PFL, for everybody, Why would not be grateful? Because these people provide money for a family. Of course, we always want more money, and they want to give less money. But it's always, we can meet at a place when everybody's happy, right? I ask money for these guys all the time, but I ask in a way I don't ruin a relationship. And it's no like some reporter, they talk about this, they talk about this, they talk about this. Hey, Who was out. And after that, when the UFC gave you a meal, you in the back eating chicken. Or they let you in the back, you're doing this. If you're against the UFC, why even you go cover the UFC? Don't cover the UFC. This is my opinion. And I think everybody who have beef with the UFC, handle behind closed door. Or any promoter. That's my opinion.
Also, I want to finish talking with you about Ego FC. Please tell us your plans about Ego FC. You have Cigano fighting, you have other Brazilian fighting. Do you have any plans to come to Brazil or to go other states than Florida?
First, Cigano, I recently started helping Cigano. And I'm going to tell you something. Every time I speak with this man, it's like I feel like the world have no problem. He's one of the most positive people you can ever meet, and he's such a beautiful person, have a beautiful family, beautiful children, and I really like him and I respect him a lot. About Eagle Man, listen, I'm not the boss. I'm just helping out sometime. You gotta talk with Habib about this and Rizvan, and of course, Eagle is a global brand. They're gonna be everywhere, worldwide. You just have to make sense, and I just Eagle's grown little by little, just not try to compete with anybody. Just try to give other people opportunity and grow a little bit. That's what Eagle doing.
Thanks a lot for the interview.
I want to say something. You know why Brazil is safe right now? Because you have the president of Brazil love MMA and love Jiu-Jitsu. And I know some people maybe like him, you don't like him. I'm such a huge fan of the Brazilian president. And I know he's close from Renzo, not that. But I'm always going to feel good when a president of a country, of a dynasty, Brazil is a dynasty, it's a heavyweight, Brazil. And this man talk about jiu-jitsu, talk about fighting, and it just make me all the time smile. And I know a lot. I know a lot of my friends love him. I'm not into politics too much, but I want to acknowledge him too.
Very nice. Thanks a lot for the interview, Ali. It was a pleasure to finally meet you, man.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and I wanna say thank you to every fighter in Brazil, every manager, every promoter who's tried to grow the sport. We all brothers in this. We all brothers, managers, coaches, trainers, fighters, and I think we always should support each other, stay positive, and nothing negative. When we stay positive, everything move forward, and Brazil is on the rise again. Thanks
a lot. My pleasure.
Awesome. Bye.